Welcome to season 2 of The Ugly Side of Entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Andreas Cook. Now, full disclaimer, some of these interviews were conducted over a year ago, so some of the information might be dated as far as events. But nonetheless, the stories and the principles and theories of how entrepreneurship journey goes for these individuals are still the same. I must be doing something right.
Some brain right.
Done that for people, not even in this state, out of state or whatever.
A client can break something. A client can make a mistake and knock over your shears and.
Hi, y'all. We're tuning in for another episode of The Ugly Side of Entrepreneurship. This is season 2, and I have a special guest today in the building. We have Miss Christina Martin, who is the CEO, proprietor of Mom to Milf, which I think, I love it.
Thank you.
I saw your organization, I think it might have been early 2023.
That's when I started, February 2023.
Okay, so yeah, I knew I saw it somewhere in 2023, and I want to say it was an earlier part of the year. I just thought it was, I love to play on words. Because you know, Milf.
Yeah, we know what it traditionally means, but yeah.
And I was like, as a creative and a marketing person, my background is a business with concentration in marketing. I know I could do so many things with that I was like, oh man, that would be great to say push and
Well, my mom's a preacher, so I push the envelope all the time.
I love that.
Yeah. So I'm from and we'll get into that, but I'm a strict Christian background. So grew up with no makeup, no tattoos, no pants,
wow.
and so
You felt restricted.
Yeah. Well, growing up, my parents were Jamaican too, so it was like a double-edged sword, having the island background and then the mom that was a preacher, and I was like. But it shaped me, so I definitely took the pros and cons from it, and that made me who I am today. But that was partly why I came up with the Mom to Milf.
Okay, so can I assume that then there was also a strong work ethic?
Oh yeah. So so just to quickly, my parents, so being immigrants, of course, they pushed education. That was our big thing. And so I can say we have 4 kids that my mom and dad had, and my brother's a computer engineer, also got his master's in engineering management. I went to school for electrical engineering, got my master's in business. My sister went to school and got her bachelor's, I can't remember undergrad, but she's now doing public marketing, and she got her master's in that. And then my other sister went to school and she got her bachelor's in science, biology, but now she's a chemist. And so my mom was always about, go for what you can achieve. Don't just stop. If it's out there, try to get it. Because again, and we hear this from our parents all the time. They didn't have so many opportunities afforded to them. And being in the U.S., you do. And so my mom's like, why stop here? She used to always tell us, reach for the stars, but if you can go beyond them, just go. Yeah. And so I think all of us took that. And, so now we all are in great careers, doing well for ourselves. My brother is local, so he's on base with me. And then my sisters are in Florida. They're doing great. And I think just shaped us all around, not only as work, but because my sister's also an entrepreneur, one of my sisters. And so I think it just helped us to push, not just do our 9 to 5, but go for the goal. Whatever you can achieve, go for it. So
where is the inspiration then? Because I imagine this is your first business?
Yeah. So honestly, I didn't build this business as money making at all. I didn't know all that went into entrepreneurship, honestly. I used to tell people all the time, because there's so much that I'm good at. So people would be like, why don't you do public speaking? Why don't you, do that? I'm great with kids, just different things. And I was like, no, I'm a 9 to 5 type of girl. I don't want to do anything outside of that. Let me clock in, do my job, I did love seeing people say they're leaving something for their kids. It's a generational thing. You want to leave something for them. And so I have 1 daughter and 2 sons. But I was like, you know what? People always tell me, how do you do the single mother thing? Not only am I going day by day with them, but they're all in sports, after school activities. We're taking trips. Yeah, we're taking trips all the time. And people literally, I'd get inbox messages like, did you just go to Chicago with your 3 kids? I'm like, yeah. How'd you do it? And I'm like, why not? You know, for me, it's just natural.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of people struggling
Mm-hmm.
that just can't even day by day, just trying to just do life and be a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, you know what? Let me make something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do more of like a support, women empowerment. I've always been about women empowerment. I always spoke at different events. So I was like, let me have a platform behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made me want to start this business, you know, just to, like, I have a discussion board on Facebook, a group, and I have about 750 members now.
Mm-hmm.
I have my page. I've spoken at events since then. I've done pop-up shops, starting my podcast thing now. And so just getting the word out there that you're not struggling alone.
Yeah.
Like, you know, although I make it look easy, I have my days that I just want to break down and like, oh my gosh. Because I have a 15-year-old, we know teenagers.
Oh, yes.
I have 11-year-old boy. And, you know, he's getting into the teen. Yeah, he's getting into the teen. And then I have a 3-year-old, well, almost 3-year-old. He's going to be 3 next week. And so it was like that big age gap. I told people, I said, I've never went to school for any of this, but I can tell you what it's like to be a mom of each age because I'm doing it. They never think you understand them. They think, Mom, you think you're cool, but you're not. You know, I never thought I'd be that mom because I used to say that about my parents. And now my kids would be like, Mom, that's not cool. And I'm like, what? And so just the outpour of, I think, support I've gotten from mothers, other businesses. I've been in Warner Robins for 14 years. And I think this past year I've met so many people, found out about other businesses, you know, just by starting my own business. And then meeting moms. I've met a lot of moms through it, you know, those that are married. And I'm finding out, hey, married moms are struggling too because they may be married, but that support that they think they should be getting, or, you know, maybe the husband's doing more of like the financial, but you still struggle emotionally. And so I've had moms reach out to me that I talk to behind the scenes and just all the stuff that I want to do. I'm just like, there's not enough time. There's not enough money. You know, there's so much that I'm learning just by even starting this business. So, but it comes natural, you know, because it's my everyday life. It's what I've been doing for 15 years now.
So in starting the business and getting it going, what were some of the things that, you know, the pitfalls? Because, you know, this is the ugly side of entrepreneurship. These are the things that people don't talk about. What are some things that you've gone through that, you know, people necessarily wouldn't think?
So I would say engagement's a big thing for me. Keeping people engaged. Because again, I'm not really offering services. I do have a few products. As you can see, I have my hoodie, I have shirts. But it's like, how do I keep people engaged? You know, because in the beginning I was doing raffles. Something as simple as, how was your day today? Or give some mom advice. And then I would pick from that post, people that answered, just do a quick drawing and give out something, you know. But it's like, okay, there's only but so much money. People see you pop up, because there's so many groups on Facebook. How do you stand out? These people see you pop up, and it's like, I don't feel like I get the engagement like I want all the time, or I get the same people. So I struggle with that a lot. Definitely, it's like, how do you keep people engaged, and what can I do? Like, I want to do events and things like that, so I try to piggyback on others, because trying to do an event of your own, it gets pricey, you know. And my main thing right now is I don't want to charge people. You know, I know as a single mom, one of my struggles is finance. So it's like, I'm trying to do events that don't have to pull from their pockets, you know, even events that maybe they can bring the kids to, because I know for me, babysitting was always an issue. You don't want to trust everyone with your kids. And then if you do have a licensed babysitter, you're paying, and there goes money again. It's like full circle. So right now I struggle with, okay, how do I keep them engaged? And then how can I do events, bring people together that's free or almost free? So that is definitely something I did not picture. You know, you start off with so much burst of energy. When I started, I had so many ideas. I had clothes I was selling. Like the Milf part of Mom to Milf is Moms in Love with, and what the F is for you. So like for me, fitness. I got back on my fitness journey. And so I was in the gym, you know, 5 days a week, and I was telling moms to come out with me. And then life happens. I got a promotion, which I was thankful for, but it takes a lot more time as a supervisor now. Messed up my knee. Don't even know how I did it. I think the devil was like, oh, you're going too good. I'm going to slow you down. Because one day I woke up and I'm like, ow. And it's been about almost 2 months now. And doctors are like, x-ray shows good. MRI shows good. Don't know what's wrong with you. Let's give you a cortisone shot, you know? And so the first one didn't work. They did the second.
You know, what I've been told, the steroid shots, whatever, can actually help deteriorate.
I heard that. after I did it, right?
Yeah, that's
So when I mentioned it to someone, they're like, those aren't good for you. And I was like, well, the first one was garbage. Didn't do anything to me. I told the doctor I felt nothing. And this was 3 weeks later. And then we did the MRI, and he's like, well, I see some swelling around your knee. I think I pinpoint the area. Let's try it in that spot. I told my mom, she's a nurse. I told my mom, I think it made it worse. I think I was walking like an old woman for about almost a week. I cannot barely move. I was crawling places. Sometimes my kids are like, Mom, I thought it was supposed to make it better. I'm like, and then fast forward 2 days ago, I was like, ooh, it's working. I feel good. But like you said, it might be just a little, people tell me it's like a mask. So it's not fixing the problem. It's just making you feel good for a little while. But that kind of slowed me down from the gym. I was like, I was going so strong. And then one day my 2-year-old was just like, I don't want the daycare at the gym. I don't know what happened. He used to go every day, was no problem. I took him one day, he fell on the floor. He told the lady, no. And I was like, he'll be okay. It's like daycare. But you know, the gym's not licensed to daycare. They don't want to put as much effort into it. So I'm working out, and they called me, and they're like, hey, you want to come get your son? You know, like, what? And so, needless to say, I've only been back to the gym whenever I have someone to watch him, you know. And so, time, I mean, like I was like, oh my God, I have all these ideas, and here I am now, about to approach a year. So thankful. Literally this week is 1 year for this, and like I said, it's been such a blessing. But I'm still at the point of like, okay, what do I do to keep people engaged? And on social media, off of social media, what can I do to keep my momentum up? Because I am a mom. I am, you know, an engineer during the day. I'm having to cook like today after I do this. The kids are like, Mom, you gonna make dinner when you get back? I'm like, yeah. You know, I gotta do all the stuff that you still have to do as a mom. Laundry's going right now.
Yeah.
And so I think because we are human, the body is like, but the heart's like, oh, I got these ideas. The mind's like, okay, remember you said you want to do this. You know, so I think collaboration is key.
Yes.
Like I said, I've literally just meeting you. It's been a blessing to get my name out there. Just meet people in general that are like, hey, I'm having this event. You want to come by? I'm having this pop-up. You want to be a vendor? I mean, that's been just such a blessing. Even just being able to say, okay, well, if I have it at your venue, I can promote your venue. You give me a discounted price or something like that. And then we're both kind of getting our names out. So I think that's been good. I'm working on a few things, speaking to other women entrepreneurs and getting some things in the works for this year. So I think at least that part of it will ease up. But definitely, if you're trying to start a business, collaborate. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Like that's what I can literally say to people, because I don't know anything about entrepreneurship. I literally, like I said, got up one day and was like, LLC. And I did have someone that was kind of mentoring me in the gym, and we spoke about it. And, you know, he put me in connection with people, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to start it.
Okay, so let me just... So when I was looking at the website and it said LLC, right? I was like, okay, for-profit business, because you can't be a LLC non-profit. You have to be an INC. But I'm looking at what you do, though. And I was like, well, how is she making money?
And so that I was so blessed recently. I joined the NASDAQ milestone, and so it's for women entrepreneurs. And I actually knew a woman entrepreneur that was in it and recommended it. So I signed up for it, and it's a milestone thing. So it was like, okay, you have to come with a milestone at the beginning of it. I want to say it was like 12 weeks. And then at the end, you should have achieved your milestone. So we kind of collaborate, talk to each other. And so during my milestone was I want to make it a nonprofit. Because again, I didn't know much about it when I signed up, but I was like, everyone says LLC. And as you just stated, I've been learning that through talking to people. You might be better as a nonprofit. I'm like, yeah. So for me, I thought, oh, I could just switch it to a nonprofit, not knowing what all goes into a nonprofit.
No, you
so
have
again,
to, actually dissolve it.
Exactly. So speaking to people, they're like, there's steps. And then once you dissolve it, then you have to now step into the nonprofit. You have to have a board of directors. You have to. And I was like, so my milestone wasn't achieved, but I did connect with people through that. And so I am working on that. I am, you know, because of what I am trying to provide, services I'm trying to provide and things like that at no cost. I'm like, yeah, this is not an LLC for me. You know, I may get an LLC out of it. I may eventually do something. I've been looking at becoming a life coach because, again, I do like to support. I like to be that aid for people. And so it might come. But, yeah, I'm on that, like, nonprofit route now, definitely.
One of Robbins is a life coach.
I met a few people. I did meet a few people that are life coaches locally.
Starts with a T name. I think it's Tamika something. I met her not too long ago. But, I'm sorry. I'm just full of
That's okay. You know a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad I met you. Very, very happy I met you. I'll start with the inbox, and here I am, learning a lot. So I'm so thankful. And that's why it's important to check, you know. I had my inbox, thought it was spam,
Mm-hmm.
sat there for a couple weeks, and then I said, hey, let me check the profile. And here I am today. So check your messages. Do your research.
Yeah. So, that because, so in the entrepreneurship journey, you know, I tell people this all the time. Okay, so I've been a full-time entrepreneur since 2013. I've been an entrepreneur since 2005 with a multitude of businesses. Yeah. And with, you know, multiple kids. Like I got way more than 3. I have 8.
Oh.
And, like out here doing it too, running them to places. So I understand your life and where it is right now, because I've done that. Just being the father of, you know, what they say, for the last 9 years of my life, I was like the household manager and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I'm the one taking everyone to everywhere. Plus, still working too, and you know, helping paying bills and all that stuff, whatever. But you know, like I said, it teaches you a lot and all that stuff. But besides that point, with entrepreneurship, you know, like I said, there's a lot of things that, you know, people don't discuss, and then you start to learn afterwards when, you know, you could have been set up from the jump, from the start, instead of having to go through like this learning curve that you've gone through, or lessened the learning curve. Like if I would have known back then, I would have just told you based off of what you were saying. Yeah, definitely a nonprofit. Definitely be mindful who you put on your board, because you don't own the nonprofit. The board runs the nonprofit. So what you don't want to do is start something and then get it going. You have all this energy into it, and then when it hits a certain threshold, then the board basically pulls a coup on you and kicks you out your own stuff because you got bylaws and stuff that you write. That's why you have to be very picky of who you put on it. And with a nonprofit, the board itself, when it's first starting out, they have to be very active board members. They can't just sit on the board and make a decision. They actually have to be out in the community and bring something to the nonprofit. That's the only way to like really get it going. Outside of that, you'll run into the same situation. You'll be the only person doing all that stuff, and it'll plateau or whatever, because you can only commit so much.
See, I'm learning as we sit here.
Well, you know, that's what I do, because like I said, I've been doing this a long time, and I've seen both worlds. I've seen where, you know, some nonprofits, and then also it's also proof of the concept with nonprofits, right? So some nonprofits will get formed, and the people won't realize who are forming them that you're not going to get any grants until you can have proof of concept within the community. Yeah. So you're going to come out of pocket a lot. But what they don't do, and I've tried to get them to understand this, is that yes, it's mission driven. You got approved by like the feds or whatever, because when you submit your application, they're going to look at all the other nonprofits in the area, and if you do similar things, whatever, then there's a possibility that they will deny it, because you're all competing for the same resources. So if it does get approved, then proof of concept kicks in, where you're putting your money into events and stuff like that, and don't expect like a profit. But you also have to document that and show where you made change in the community, because without that, when you apply for grants, you're just a number or an applicant. And if there's no notoriety around the organization, these committee members who are accepting the applications and then taking them through that process will just deny. I've seen it. I also sat on some committees too.
Oh, wow.
So
you're definitely somebody I'll connect with on that. I mean, like I said, I just started looking at the nonprofit route and getting some information.
But you still, like, as far as entrepreneurship and, like, you know, a for-profit business, I mean, you still have other things that you can do. Even with Mom to Milf, I see where, you know, yes, it could be service-based and offer products as well, but I understand that, you know, you don't want to charge. But if you're going to accelerate someone's career, get them from like point, you know, A to point F or whatever the case may be, then that in itself is invaluable, and it needs to be where they invested in that.
The cost. Yeah,
I think you gotta take the heart and like put it aside.
Well, I do know from speaking to people too, like you said, you have they have their LLCs,
Mm-hmm.
they also have the nonprofit, you know, or so it's not like I have to be like, okay, I'm done with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I can offer
Mm-hmm.
things that cost on this side and then the other side, because eventually I want to be able to give. I was a student in college having a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it was like.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, whew, the price, and that was what 15 years ago. So now everything's just gone up. And so I would love to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not encouraging it, but it happens. So kids going out of high school to college that are a single mom, or kids in college that have now. I want to be able to say, okay, well, here's a $500, here's a scholarship or grant or whatever. And so that could be my nonprofit side of the house, you know. So definitely talking to you has enlightened me, just even what the nonprofit, because like I said, I've heard some of it I haven't heard. Even the local competition, not thinking about that, you know, like you said, if there's other, which they are, because I have people that I've connected through my group, then I have to think about that, you know, how's mine different, how does mine stand out.
And then you partner with them as well, like
and
you
I
know,
have,
and then like
which
you
is
know, and you so let's see, being a fiscal agent, being your own fiscal agent within your nonprofit. If you don't have the 501c3 status, then you only have the state status. You have to have a fiscal agent, and in that, there have been horror stories around here where people have gotten, you know, lots of money and had to write that check over to a fiscal agent, and the fiscal agent runs off with the money. So yeah, when you go down that road, you really have to verify and vet every single person you come across, and make sure that they have a past history of doing right business. Because just to be honest, whatever, that's why like this area in South Macon, like Houston Avenue, I don't know how familiar you're with South Macon, but Houston Avenue was supposed to have a garden community center. And because the person at the time who had got the money like several years ago, I would say it's been about 8 to 9 years, somewhere in that range. It was $500,000. They was awarded the money, got the full check from the city of Macon to be able to do this.
And to go.
And the person that was used as the fiscal agent in Atlanta. And there's no community anything.
Wow.
So, and that's one of many stories.
I mean, that's pretty, yeah. I mean, being in Atlanta, they probably could care less about down here. They got that check. And
Well, he was here or whatever, but he just moved
took
to
off.
Atlanta. Yeah. Supposedly riding around in a Maybach or something like that.
I'm sure. I'm sure. And if you had an address, I'm sure you'd see what the house looks like. So.
Yeah, it's not hard to find an address. But it's stuff like that though. And when, like, I always advise people to, before you even start a business, find people who have been in business a long time so you can consult with them so they can, like, put you on the right path. It's not for them to deter your dream, but it's for them to let you know, okay, these are the pitfalls that you don't even know that are there, or the landmines. And instead of stepping on them, you can watch out for them or whatever, but...
And I was blessed that I had someone that even encouraged me, because like I said, this has been a thought for me for a while, but I'm like, 9 to 5, just give me a 9 to 5. Let me clock. It's easy. You know, everybody wants to go the easier route. Not knowing what you can make. I mean, I have entrepreneurs around me all day, every day, but I'm like, oh, this is easy. I just want to clock in, clock out. And so it wasn't until I met someone that was encouraging of it. They're like, look, I'll help you. I have resources. I'm kind of like you. He knew a lot of people, and he's like, I'll help you. So he was able to help me with my website. Even these cards, I was able to meet someone that was like, oh, I can do your business cards for you. I can do this. So it was, you know, like I said, that burst of energy and the fact that I had this big support. I was like, yay. But you have to realize that, like I said, life happens. And at some point I felt like it's like a baby. Now you're taking your first steps. You're going to have to walk on your own. And so they're still there. They're still always calling me. It's like, you know, what's new? What you going to do next? And I'm like, well, after football season, because, you know, my son practiced 4 or 5 days a week, you know, then games. And then my daughter made drama, which I was very proud of her. But I just, again, not being a drama student, every day except I think it was Sunday, they had practice. And I'm like, what? Drama? You know, so it's like, when is my break? So football season ended, and I was like, okay, well now, I was like, it's going to be a year for my business. I was just talking to him the other day. I was like, it's a year for my business. I have all this stuff lined up. And my son's like, well, flag football starts next month, doesn't it? And I was like, yeah. And then my daughter's like, well, our new play auditions are, you know, like, you know, a couple weeks. And I was like, so it's like summer, you know. I mean, of course I do stuff in between, but it's like, you have to be a mom. And I always have to remember they're not going to always be here. So it's like, I have to enjoy while they're here as well. And that's one thing I pride myself on. Everyone always calls me super mom, you know, and I'm like, I am super mom, but super mom has kryptonite as well. And I always tell them that, you know, so I tell them, I'm like, I try to do everything I need to do for my business, but at the same time, I have to still remember my kids. My kids are not going to always be my kids. They're going to be adults, you know? And so, and then my business, which is a good thing, like I said, it wraps around what I do on a daily basis. So even something as simple as my group, I have moms now that'll post memes, or I'll post encouraging words, or whenever I do get in the gym, I do my reels. And I remember I was posting them every day, and this person inboxed me and said, every time I see you post a reel, it encourages me to get up. Just get up and get to the gym. Because she's like, to see that you're able to do this, and I'm home, I'm like, why can't I do it? And it's stuff like that I love to hear. Like, that's the point of my plan. Like, I want you to know that your life does not stop as a mother.
No, it doesn't.
If you want to go work, go work. If you want to go to school, go to school. Whatever you want to do, because this is my little phrase, I'm like, look, we want to pour into our kids, but then we're empty. And how are we empty pouring into, you can't.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, fill it up with whatever. If it's 10 minutes of fitness, do 10 minutes of fitness. If you like to be, you know, food, go cook. Go make some desserts. You know, there's so much hidden talent behind mothers and fathers, you know. But it's like, we don't ever get to express it because we spend half the day with our kids doing our, and then by the time night falls, it's like, I just want to sleep. And I know I have a stack of books next to my bed that I was like, oh, I want to read these books. And they're just there. I got the new Will Smith. I got Michelle Obama. Like, they're all there. And I know if you look at them right now, there's bookmarks. But I think my 2-year-old COVID baby took me for a whirlwind that the other ones didn't. And he's a really good kid, but he's very, very inquisitive. He's used to always having me because he's been home with me since birth. So if it just means he's going to be on his iPad but nestle right up under me, he's there. And so I don't get a me time. That is unheard of. He'll sometimes, now he's about to be 3, he'll yell in the room and say, Mom, what are you doing? I'm like, watching football. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because I want to, you know? Or I used to always joke and say, my kids don't like to see me rest. Because that's the exact moment that my son needs something. My daughter needs something. And I'm like, or if something will happen, I'll hear my 2-year-old say, uh-oh. And I'm like, what'd you just do? I spilled this. And I'm like, man. And so my mom always jokes and says, well, I'm glad it's not me, you know? Because she's like, back in the day, it was way easier than it is now. And I'm like, so my most encouraging thing for people would be to, like, as you just said, talk to someone before you just dive in. Get a mentor. You know, even if it means that it's taking you a year to build up your business before you even just sign on the dotted line, do that. Because like you said, there's so much hidden things we don't see. And if I could have redid it, I still definitely would do Mom to Milf. But I probably would have done the nonprofit route first. Kind of built up on that because I know what my goal was. I know what my thought was when I put it together. And it wasn't to make money. You know, if I do make it, it's like, oh, that's a blessing. But I did so many pop-up shops. I poured so much into it already that I'm like, I still haven't achieved what I really want to achieve yet. I've come across mothers. I've met people that is invaluable. Like, I wouldn't have met them if I didn't do it. But at the same time, I haven't been able to give back like I wanted to yet. And so I probably would have took more time to build that up to do that. But, you know, I have forever is how I look at it. So now that I'm learning, now that I'm meeting people, coming across like you as a resource, as we were talking before, just people I've met that I'm like, now I know other business owners, I know venues that I can collaborate with, fitness. Like, I've met fitness instructors that I'm like, hey, I want to do free Zumba in the park. And they're like, sign me up. Let me know when you want it. And I'm like, look at that. You know, they're not charging me anything. They're just coming to support. And so just little stuff like that, you know. And then, of course, I'm able to show off their business, which is good too. And so far so good. I do have a lot in store, a lot that I'm thinking about wanting to do. But it's definitely like the ugly side that I think I was running away from the whole time. When I was like 9 to 5, 9 to 5. Now that I'm in it, I'm like 9 to 5, 9 to 5. But you know, I do have some good mentors, and I can't say that. I actually work for a tutoring company, and that was another thing I've always wanted to do because I tutor. I've always tutored. And someone was like, why don't you just start a tutoring company? I was like, no, because I was like, what about the days I don't want to tutor? I can't just shut down the company, you know? And so I was blessed to meet someone on base that does it, and so I signed up with him. And so just even math swap tutoring. Math.
Sean, I interviewed
him. Yeah, okay, yeah. So Sean is, I work with Sean. See how it comes full circle? But love working under him, you know? And then even just see what he has to go through as an entrepreneur, you know? And it's like, this is why I didn't want to start my own tutoring company. But then again, it's like, why couldn't I have started my own tutoring company? Because I am I've been tutoring for forever. So it's like, I could have. I know other people that can't too, you know? And so just even seeing that and being part of organizations working under 44th and Madison, hearing their horror stories. You know?
They got a lot of them.
Yeah, they have a lot, but again, they're working in a whole venue. You know, they opened a space. And so hearing all of that, I'm just like...
Did they show you the before and after pictures?
They did. They did. Okay. Love being there, great people. Just even seeing...
You were saying, working with the 45th Madison, getting the...
the clients, So getting to see the different nationalities and age groups and everything they work with, that is... I think I can honestly say that kind of deterred me if I was wanting to open a building, because I would definitely have to sit down with them and say, okay, X, Y, Z, because they've learned, and I'm sure from speaking to them, and it's like, if I could do this different, and I'm like, you know what, people need to talk to you guys before they just even open a building, because it's different when you just have an LLC. When you actually have a building that people have to now come to. I mean, we've had people complain about the seating arrangement. I'm like, you're just a guest. This is a guest, not even clients, and they want us to fix it. It's like, how are we supposed to fix it? Bartending, you'll make a drink for one person, and they're like, oh my God, this is delicious. And you just made the same drink for someone else, and they're like, it's not strong enough. And I'm like, okay, we didn't have that complaint, and it's, you can't make them happy. Yeah. And I think that's the hardest part. And you see these big corporations, these restaurants, and they deal with it every day, but they're big corps, it's like whatever. But when you're a small LLC, they're wanting these prices to be lower, and it's like, guys, it's probably actually costing me a little bit more. But because you don't have that Chili's or Applebee's, or they're like, oh well, you can cut me a deal, and it's like, no, we can't. So I've learned so much from being under them. I've learned a lot of business from Sean. I'll go back to him and say, hey, what's the time that we, if they don't show up in 10 minutes, that when I can tell them, hey, and he's like, yeah, it's on their contract. I'm like, okay, because you have those complaints too. Like, I was running a little late. My time's precious too. So just little things like that. I think I'm going to stick to what I'm doing, because I want to say those are truly the ugly, ugly sides. I think once you have to deal with people on a daily and you are providing those services that they're paying for, they think their money's better than the next. And it's like, no, A's paying the same thing as B, but B's expecting this and not understand that we're right here. And so, I've learned a lot by being, and I think it helped me being under them. I really do, I do it because I like it. It's not like I have to, but I've always wanted to bartend, and they were gracious enough to teach me, which was great. And then, like I said, I've always tutored, but it was like word of mouth. So now it's like a nice structured spot that people can just come and, so far so good. Yeah. I see myself, and those are just added to my resume. Kids are like, Mom, what are you doing today? Are you tutoring? Are you going to work? Are you, because I'm like, here I am doing my 9 to 5, then I got to take them to where they got to go, then I bartend on the weekends, and I tutor in between, So it just adds to my, they always joke about Jamaicans having multiple jobs.
Yeah, I'm like, this like living
here
color.
Exactly.
I love it. So let everybody know if they want to support things of the nature, help you with your vision, especially, providing resources.
Oh yeah, resources.
To, single moms, where do they need to go?
Okay, so guys, I am on Facebook under Mom to Milf LLC. That is my page. But you can also find me on my personal page, Martin Tina. I check both. My group on Facebook is Mom to Milf as well. But you'll see in parentheses, Women's Empowerment Community. All you have to do is join. We have discussions in there, raffles. I try to share everything happening around the community. So, if you just need a resource to find out what's going on, something as simple as pop-up shops, free giveaways, things like that, I share all that in there. And then on Instagram, I'm mom.tomilf, mom.tomilf. I post reels. Again, I try to share things that are happening in the community. And then I also have a website, www.mom-2-milf.com. You can read up on me. You can see some of what I'm wearing. I sell hoodies, cups, mugs, t-shirts, things like that. Some people just think the shirt looks cool, and so they just want a shirt. And so if you want to order, just go ahead and you can either inbox me or you can go on my website and order as well. And again, I want to thank you for having me today. Again, check your inboxes. Resource is key. Definitely going to be exchanging numbers now because I'm learning so much just from even sitting here on this podcast with them. And so definitely don't deny it. Don't ignore it. It may be your blessing in disguise, guys. Thank you again for supporting Mom to Milf.